Yo.
Hi.
Hey there.
Oh,
Just as a heads up, my name is Sammy, by the way.
Nice to meet you, Tammy.
Sammy.
So nice to meet you.
And swears are okay. I know you dropped a couple F-bombs in a couple of other interviews, but also it's a horror movie too, right? So there's going to be like a couple of scenes, right, where you got to like just drop something.
1000%, man.
Appreciate that. Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah. There's no principal. I won't send you the principal or anything. But is it okay if I just jump in and we talk about horror and Dream Eater and scary
Yeah.
things?
For sure.
Yo, and welcome to my summer lair. I'm your host, Sammy. The best part of having dreams is all the sleeping, Yunnan. Pennywise. Yes, the menacing, dancing clown that is consuming Derry's wayward youth. He revealed, I think it was in the second movie, chapter 2. Anyways, he revealed, I am eternal. I am the eater of worlds. Which, is super scary if it posted that as a Tinder bio. I am eternal. I am the eater of worlds. But what if instead of an eater of worlds, there was a dream eater? The horror movie's logline is a filmmaker documents her boyfriend's violent parasomnia during a remote cabin holiday. As his sleepwalking worsens, she suspects a far more sinister cause. It's that premise of like, it's not just sleepwalking, like in movies or even in real life. People will sometimes get up in the middle of the night and they're still sleeping, and then they go to like the fridge and they take all the food out of it and they put it all over the kitchen, It's that kind of menace. So, welcome Jay Draculich, Mallory Drum, and Alex Lee Williams, the trio behind Dream Eater, a found footage flick that'll leave you unsettled. Mallory is the girlfriend shooting Alex's sleepwalking horrors, hence the found footage aspect of this creepy movie. And just like the Blair Witch Project, the actors are using their real names. I know, at first too, when I started watching the movie and I heard Alex and Mallory, those are the actors' names, and so that's what they're using. But I also had like a Family Ties flashback for a second. Where was I in this introduction? Oh, the movie. So Dream Eater, what begins as a tranquil winter getaway to an isolated cabin, quickly escalates into an overlook-like stay. Though thankfully there are no terrifying twins or like ballroom photos of Alex from the 1920s. Eli Roth, as in Cabin Fever, Knock Knock, and Thanksgiving. So that Eli Roth, he describes Dream Eater as terrifying, nail-biting, and even scary. In fact, he enjoyed the terror so much he picked up the horror movie for U.S. distribution via Eli Roth's The Horror section. Which is impressive, like as an accomplishment for these indie Canadian filmmakers, but also for them as horror fans. When you watch Dream Eater, see how many horror Easter eggs and references you can identify. As you'll hear in our conversation, all three are major horror fans, and they've peppered Dream Eater with a variety of horror movie acknowledgements. I identified 3: Overlook Hotel, Candyman, and a slightly deep-cut Dr. Armitage. So get out, see what I did there, Dr. Armitage, and check out Dream Eater. This isn't just a conversation with filmmakers, it's a conversation with horror fans. And that's always fun. I always like that. I like getting into the horror movies with horror fans. We even dropped Audition, a 1999 Japanese horror movie. Yo, if you're single and you haven't checked it out, do not watch this. But for now, if you sleep alone or you sleep beside someone, you'd be wise to check out Dream Eater. Oh, yes. And now, because teamwork makes the dream work, here's Stephanie with an introduction so warm, she keeps the night terrors at bay. Hit it.
Sound, the final frontier. My Summer Lair is an enterprise, a pop culture voyage with a continuing mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new creators and celebrate established producers, to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. And now here is your host, Sammy Yunnan.
There's 3 of you. I want you to introduce yourself. Just give me your name. And then as an icebreaker, share the horror movie that you watched during childhood that stained your soul. You know, like what was the gateway horror movie that got you into this genre? So your name and your gateway horror movie.
I'm Alex Lee Williams, writer, director, star, and producer of Dream Eater alongside my two best friends. And the movie that stained my soul and continues to stain many days of the year because it's just so perfect is Bob Clark's 1974 classic, Black Christmas.
Ooh, okay, yeah. The 70s stuff is a little bit more raw and rude. You know what I mean?
It's just it has all the texture in the world, and they were experimental, trying things, just a wildly innovative movie. And yeah, I think it's as perfect as a horror movie can get.
All right, good choice. You want to continue?
Yeah, so my name is Jay Drakulich. I am writer, director of Dream Eater and co-writer, co-director of Dream Eater and mega fan of Alex and Mallory's acting.
Oh, that's sweet.
We stained his soul.
Yeah.
And then I'd say honestly, if you're asking the earliest one, I was about 4 years old and my dad had taped The Gate and showed that to me.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It completely changed. Like it probably set off the trajectory, that and Lady in White, but specifically The Gate, set off, put me on the trajectory to love horror films and want to make horror films. And to this day, like it's a movie I constantly watch. And, it's a movie that's, I think, a little bit more geared towards children, but it is still like some of the imagery in that film is absolutely harrowing.
Yeah. Again, a lot of the older classics like that, even though they're like Something Wicked This Way Comes, there's a little bit no holds barred for the kids, even though
1000%, man.
Right,
That's the thing. And when you see kids fighting evil, there's something about that too that just gets you, like Phantasm,
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. So I'm Mallory Drum. I'm another co-writer, co-director, and co-star of Dream Eater. And if we're talking earliest, and I don't know that this is technically a horror film, but it scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. It's an anime called Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland. And it's just weird, and it's got this creepy darkness to it. And like, funnily enough, it's about dreams and sleeping. And I always had like night terrors as a kid. So it almost kind of felt like this anime was talking about what was going on in my own mind. And I saw that super young, and it stuck with me, and it always terrified me. So yeah.
Mallory had showed that to me because we're married as well. She had showed that to me like maybe like 10 years ago. I'd never seen it. That is a mind fuck of an animated film for like in the 80s, they were just taking way more chances with these animated films. And I have to say, like 1000% horror for
the 80s there was no like safety requirements, right? It was
yeah, exactly.
You just drive without a seatbelt, right? And you just hope that you don't
you
get
literally took the words right out of my mouth, Sammy. I was going to say, like, we didn't even have seatbelts back then.
You just like hope for the best. Basically, that's how you get through the 80s. Like you just white knuckle it till the 90s.
It's like Return to Oz, these movies that are like designed for children, but you're like, oh my God, in what world? Like it's amazing.
This is a silly question, but now I'm curious because like, you guys done a number of interviews for Dream Eater and even some with Eli Roth. But like, is the excitement to talk about this cool movie that you made? And I get that, but is it equally also just because it gives you an opportunity to talk about horror movies? People love to talk and like get into it and like, do you like this? Do you like, because horror fans are passionate fans too. It's a lot different than some similar other genres. Like there isn't, like people aren't always kind of like eager to talk about rom-coms, for example. But horror fans, they will go back to the 80s, the 70s. Like, so is it both, I guess?
We will do anything to just talk shit about movies all day. Like whenever Mal, Jay, and myself get on to do writing sessions, we always are like, okay, well, what time do we actually want to start writing by? But because we're just going to talk shit about movies for like 2 hours. So if we want to start at 9, we got to start at 7. It's one of those things. Like, so any opportunity we get to just talk about movies, and especially when we're doing interviews with Eli, we end up just talking about his movies. And he's like, oh, guys, let's talk about Dream Eater. And we're like, yeah, but fucking Hostel's so good, man.
Yeah. And to your point too, Sammy, like, honestly, there are no better fans than horror fans. They are the best in the world. We always joke that we're just like a little band of misfits and like take any opportunity to talk about films. And I think it's also a testament to how like horror as a genre really stays with you as an audience. and as like a viewer of the movie, right? And like it stays with you long after you leave the theater, long after you turn that movie off. So like getting to just talk movies, especially horror movies, is like just as much of a joy to talk about as Dream Eater is, really.
1,000%, you know, because with horror movies, it's like you feel like you lived it. It makes you a more active participant because it preys now on your anxieties. It preys on your personal fears. So like when you know, and when you're talking to, it's kind of like, to borrow a quote from Blade Runner, it's like, I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Like if you just say audition to somebody.
Oh, the Japanese one.
Right now, somebody's going to go, oh, dude, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm never going to do acupuncture again, or date for that matter. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's one of those things where you kind of feel like you were there. You kind of feel like you lived it. And I think it's just one of those genres that just really kind of, it leaves a mark on you as a viewer, and you somehow end up leaving your own mark on it because it feels so inherently personal to the first time or the 1,000th time or whatever that you saw that movie.
So you would say it follows you. Get it?
I would say it follows you exactly. Yeah.
All right. A quick tangent. I was recently in Berlin and Prague last week. And in Prague, they have a nightmare horror bar. And it's just like filled, like there's a little Crystal Lake section there where you can kind of sit underneath a large Jason, and he's got a machete. There was a Hellraiser there. We didn't have a reservation, so they put us under the Chucky table. I'm not really a big Chucky fan, but I was like, all right, it's a classic Chucky, whatever. Anyways, I was going around taking some photos, and there was a large frame just above the archway for where you go to the bathrooms of Candyman. And it was like the old Tony Todd, right? He had the hook for the hand, and he had the little like pimp coat on and everything. And this dude saw me taking a photo of him, and he tapped me, and he's like, "Who's that?" I said, "It's Candyman." And he looked at me, and he's like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "You say his name 5 times in the mirror, and then he appears, and then when people die, they have like bees in their mouth." And him and his girlfriend are just like looking at me like, "What's this guy talking about?" Anyways, what I'm getting at is like horror sometimes too is difficult to convey. So like, have you guys figured out a fun way to describe Dream Eater without giving away too much or sounding like an idiot like I did trying to describe Candyman?
Dude, that's a great question. Just wanted to say.
Oh, thank you.
I was like, you go.
Okay. Well, so I think honestly, the way we've been describing it is about stripping away comfort zones. So, we go, Jaws changed the way that you swam in the ocean, right? Or for that matter, for me when I was a kid, if I'm going to be honest.
Don't go in the water.
Or exactly, just in general. I think it was Jordan Peele said that it changed when he was taking a bath, even he was afraid that a shark was going to get him. Psycho changed the way you take showers. For us with Dream Eater, it's trying to change the way that you look at going to sleep at night. Not only from can you trust yourself perspective, but mainly, do you know the person you're sleeping next to in bed? So I think if you're able to get someone where they live, so to speak, if you're able to get you're able to get somebody in a relatable space, and then now strip that away from them, or alter it, or twist it, or corrupt it in some kind of way. I think that's the best way to convey a lot of these, bigger concepts and these more kind of fucked up, horrifying concepts by just going like, we'll pick, Blair Witch. Just imagine being lost in the woods.
Yeah.
Wow, throw a witch on top of it, right? So I think the way we always look at crafting our horror films, and Dream Eater was no different, is that we look at the paradigm that we refer to is the characters are the prism, and the premise is what we shine through, is the light we shine through, and the spectrum that comes out of that, well, that's the story, right? So in that way, if you're making it about people, if you're making it about the characters first, well, then you can tell any kind of fucked up cosmic horror idea, or a Candyman, living dead, urban legend come to life. You can get as complex as you want to get because you're telling it through a relatable structure, and your narrative now is driven by the characters.
You're talking about being grounded.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that makes sense. Because everyone sleeps, right? Or everyone takes baths. Well, not everyone takes baths, but everyone sleeps, right? Like, there's always one stinky kid in every class or whatever, right? So it's like, if you can, like you said, sleep is like something you just kind of do naturally. You just kind of get into bed, and then you kind of like, you're out. You count sheep and you're out. But if you, like you said, if you can corrupt that, then you have night terrors and everything else.
And now the rest of the story, it's like, well, there, you've already just said it. So now you don't even have to worry about what the nature of the horror is, or if there's a supernatural. You just say that alone to somebody and they're like, oh shit, I know what that's like. Because everybody has an inherent fear of the dark, right? So now it's just going like, cool, get people in a relatable spot. And now you're like, that's what the movie's about. Go watch it. It'll change your life.
And as I touched upon this already, you guys are obviously big horror fans. There's a lot of obvious and unobvious Easter eggs woven into Dream Eater. Alex, of course, he mentions when the Overlook Hotel, when they pull up to the cabin. Candyman, I already mentioned Candyman, but Candyman got dropped. Jay, you just mentioned Jordan Peele. The creepy, weird doctor that Mallory reaches out to, Dr. Armitage. Was that another Easter egg? Because that's the name of the creepy family from Get Out, which is, again, mirrors dreams and failing to trust reality, and you don't know. It's very similar themes to what you guys are presenting in Dream Eater.
1,000%. So with that, what we were going for with Armitage was a double Easter egg. It was Armitage from the Dunwich Horror, which is an amazing Lovecraft story, but also Frank Armitage, which is the pseudonym of John Carpenter when he wrote They Live.
Oh, yeah.
So we kind of just, you know what I mean? Like kind of there with our influences, but absolutely to what you're saying. Like, that's why we threw Lovecraft Country in there. Because if we were going to credit Lovecraft, who was a very controversial figure who had some very problematic ideas about race and immigrants, newcomers, we're like, okay, we're going to credit Lovecraft, but we're going to credit Lovecraft through a creator like Jordan Peele. We're not going to do it straight through Lovecraft, because that's the thing. Now it's about us reclaiming, he made such incredible stories, but he himself was a very controversial figure. So it's like, oh, let's take that back. Let's bring it into the 21st century and let's apply it in this more inclusive kind of way.
And horror movies are often metaphors for our real life demons. So I know there are scary scenes in Dream Eaters, but is there a commentary on like toxic or even corrosive relationships? I don't know that Mallory was necessarily in the best place.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, kind of to what Jay was alluding before, whenever we tell a story, we always want to start with the characters first. And this movie is very much about a relationship with a couple who is going through it. Like going through money issues, going through the fact that Alex refuses to talk about his past or even wants to look into it. The fact that, they're trying to spend time together and he's just refusing to deal with the things that he needs to deal with. So there's very much a underlining story woven in where this is also about trauma. And, from like the masculine side of things, like men don't often like to talk about their feelings or oftentimes don't want to go delve into the issues that they have to get better. And from like a female perspective, I think we often find ourselves in relationships where we're like, no, we can fix him, or like, I can make this better. And we start putting ourselves in the back burner while we're trying to fix and serve the person in the relationship. So yeah, this movie is definitely a horror film, but I think first and foremost, it always starts with the characters first. And this really is about a toxic relationship between two people. But, there are definitely moments woven throughout the film where Alex and Mallory, like, you see why they're together. You see why Mallory loves Alex and wants to make him better.
She's trying to make it work too.
Exactly. Yes. She's trying to make it work. She loves him. They've been together for 4 years. They've been through it and she doesn't want to give up on him. She wants to make him feel better. But yes, this movie is definitely about, like I said, a couple in trauma. And then from Alex's character, somebody who's clearly dealing with a mental illness, but doesn't want to talk about it and doesn't want to get better.
Alex, did you like that perspective as well too? Like just the fact that you got to use your own name and kind of like both you and Mallory were Alex and Mallory.
Oh yeah, like that was a conscious choice of ours because Mallory and I were not supposed to act in the movie. We had two actors that we had in mind, and then we had an actor rep, which the actor union in Canada read over the script, and they were like, "Oh yeah, so this is going to cost this," and we were like, "Fuck, okay, well we can't afford that." So we basically were like, "Okay, let's call the characters Alex and Mallory. We're going to do it ourselves." Which just helped us because Mallory and I have been best friends for over a decade. So it allowed for us to authentically be able to just kind of talk to each other in the movie. And just like, if we can take out one obstacle for us, having to remember the other person's name, that's going to greatly help. But it also allowed for the chemistry, especially in the scenes where, we're enjoying each other's company. It allowed for that to actually come off as authentic because it was very important. It's very important in every single movie for the audience to sympathize, but also like the characters that they're watching. Unless you're watching a movie about an anti-hero, but even then you're still supposed to care about them. Otherwise, why are you even watching the movie?
Yeah, you want to show that it's authentic, like you said, like there's a connection there, so that when things fall apart, then it's like there's more like investment from the audience.
Yeah, it feels like there's weight to it.
Mhm.
Otherwise, if it feels hollow, people will check out. And not everyone likes every single movie or doesn't believe every single thing. But the thing that we wanted to do was portray two characters that we feel every single person knows, and every single one of us and almost every single person we talk to about this movie, there's at least they're either that person or they know someone that's in a relationship that they shouldn't be in. And that was the thing that we wanted to hit. Because so many, a lot of the responses we're getting, which are fun, it's funny and it's satisfying, is like, oh, I would have left on night one. It's like, no, you wouldn't. No, of course you wouldn't, because it's so easy to say that when it's from the perspective of an audience member. But then when you think about it, you're like, fuck, if this was my partner, this would be really difficult to deal with. And then if this was my partner speaking this way or treating me this way, it's like, yeah, I guess it would be more difficult. It's not as easy. And that's what Mallory's performance does so well is she believably sort of deals with the yin and yang, the pros and cons of, do I leave? Do I stay or do I go? Do I drop the years of investment that I put into this relationship, or do I think about myself for a change and get myself out while I still can?
The sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. For the last question, though, a classic horror movie staple is the sequel, The Hand Out of the Grave. Can we expect Dream Eater 2? Do the nightmares continue?
Oh man, like we certainly hope so. We're keeping our fingers crossed, like hopefully the first one does really well. So I mean, like, please go out and see it in theaters. Please support independent horror, and hopefully we'll get to scare audiences again with the sequel. We would never say no. So hopefully it happens.
It would be great to go and play in that sandbox again. So yeah, let's see what the future holds. But yeah, fingies and toes crossed.
Okay. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for the night terrors as well. I appreciate it. So
thank you, Sammy.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
It's an honor to be here.
Nice meeting you.
So
Thank you.
appreciate you, brother.
Yo, that was Jay, Mallory, and Alex, the three amigos behind Dream Eater. Three Amigos was a pretty cool movie, actually. Should dust that off. I am Sammy, host of My Summer Lair. As I said in the introduction to this episode, it's always fun to assemble with horror fans. Or I guess, if we're talking about horror fans, it's probably more fun to disassemble. You know what I mean? Cut up. Anyways, I got dark pretty quickly. So yeah, let's keep the scary good times rolling. Follow me on Substack. My newsletter is My Pal Sammy. Google My Pal Sammy and Substack and sign up today. Please sign up. Every week you will get pop culture recommendations and connections beyond your wildest dreams. Let's connect and get into the best night terrors and celebrate all the final girls. Do you think you could survive a horror movie? I don't think I would be the first kill, but I think I could be I'd probably end up being the second or third kill. You know what I mean? I definitely don't think I would make it to the end. But I don't know, modern horror movies these days have lower body counts. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm kind of an 80s kid, so I kind of like the classics, you know? Anyways, let me know your horror feelings and your horror emotions. My Pal Sammy at Substack. Sign up today. We can get into all of this. Thank you so much for listening to me in a Netflix world. Dream Eater, yo.